Hello and welcome to the Skies of Harmony fortnightly podcast, as we're probably going to change
I
it to now,
guess.
just because it's just too busy, man. It's life. And man, after having weeks and weeks and weeks of absolutely nothing, we've got so much to talk about this week, so much.
Yep.
So there's going to be jump points
It's
below.
gonna be a long one.
Yeah, this is probably going to be at least an hour, easily, I think.
Well, yeah, that's for unusual ones. It'd be longer than that, probably.
No, our usual ones we've been hitting like 38 minutes. But anyway, that's not
Okay.
important.
Okay.
There's going to be jump points below. On this channel, we talk about classic Who, new Who, and future Who. What everything, universe stuff. We talk about the Doctor Who's. So yeah, obviously we got to start with the big stuff, the big boy, the upcoming episode, Revolution of the Daleks, which has now been confirmed to be 70 minutes. There was like people were like, interesting when Chibnall said, "Oh, this feature length." And we were like, "Oh, that's interesting. I wonder how long this is going to be." And I did say, I remember, I said on Snapchat to Conrad, I was like, "I hope it's at least like almost 50th length." And 50th was 75 minutes, so this is pretty solid,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's nice because I mean, this isn't really a special event, so we're just getting a extra long episode just because. So I'm not gonna complain. I'm super happy about that.
Considering how long we're gonna need to wait, though.
Yeah, I mean I mean, when you think about when they were making it, they didn't know that we were this gap was gonna happen. So it's worked out pretty good that this extra long episode. I like it because it means that it gives the Daleks time, and hopefully they'll have a decent amount of screen time. Because I mean, there's a lot in this episode. So obviously we've got the new Dalek designs.
The squeezed Dalek.
The squeezed. Yeah, I love the design just up until like the head area. Like it's just the top is slightly.
Everything about that just doesn't work. Like I said, it's too small, and I also really don't like the blue kind of light coming out of it. It looks kind of.
I don't know.
Odd.
I feel like. I don't know. I feel like the issue is when you're redesigning something to the point there's like you go too far and then you end up with like the Paradigm Daleks, which just the colors were completely off. But I feel like
actually preferred those.
Did you?
To be honest,
Really?
These. Yeah.
Wow.
These. Yeah.
I like these far more than those. I think this is the best. I like that they're going back to the black and kind of silver design. I think actually as a color it's more scary. I feel like imagine like that coming through like the dark. Like I feel like that is more like it's more camouflage. It's more I don't know, scary, I guess.
The color scheme works. I mean, that is straight up classic Daleks because like we have had those dark colors for Daleks before. Like it's not the color scheme necessarily that's the problem. It's just like you said, it is mainly the head, but it goes beyond just. Well, if it was slightly bigger and there wasn't blue lights, like the body's imposing, but it's just when I look at it, the head just looks weird to me. It's difficult to describe when it's literally just like a half cylinder and an eye stalk.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't look right. Like even if that was bigger, I don't think that would look right even then.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what it'll look like in motion. I mean, the issue is you've got a still image, and like the Daleks don't ever look the best from the front. I always think the best angle is when they're slightly diagonal. The headstalk's kind of looking forward, and they're kind of. I think that always is like the most like when I think of a Dalek, that's the image. I mean,
yeah, but the Russell T era Dalek did manage to continue to look imposing even when straight.
But I think
in the front,
the issue is they knocked it out the park with that first design. Like that is the perfect design, and the issue is. Like, I completely understand from a creator's point of view, when you come to a show, you want to leave your own mark on it. And just always using everything that's come before, it's like you're going to have to do changes at some point because the show is about change. It is about things changing. And I think, like, I do think it is time for a Dalek redesign. Just and not to pussy out of it like they kind of did with the Moffat ones. They should have stuck with it. Like maybe they kind of got the colors a bit better. Like when it came to Asylum, like they did a darker red and a darker blue, and they looked decent. And kind
apparently,
of organic
the problem's
ice
never the actual like the way they I mean, it's sort of the way they look, but it was the main issue was the size of them, and yeah, the colors didn't look imposing. But like, if those Daleks had had either this color scheme or the Russell T color scheme, and then were maybe a bit smaller, they would have looked really quite good. I think.
Mm.
At least that's what I feel. But they never decided to iterate or adjust them. They just gave up on them.
Yeah.
Which I never complained about because continuing to use the Russell T ones.
I mean,
I
they're
never had a
perfect.
problem with
Yeah.
because they're great designs. So that was never so much of an issue. But it was a bit of a shame that they tried to push for this redesign, which failed. But then you get these new ones, which, like I said, just don't look right. Like it just, I get the dark. It's supposed to look even more kind of cold and I guess a bit more intimidating, maybe. I don't know, but it just doesn't work.
I don't know.
It's like they tried to.
I don't want to say it doesn't
to...
work yet because the issue is we haven't even seen it on screen. I feel
true.
like I want to see them on screen first before I do because I felt actually because it's somewhat similar to the design from Resolution.
Yeah, I think that was what they were going for, like a fully formed
version of that.
Design.
And I felt like it did work, like the one from Resolution.
Well, it worked as a one-off design. Like I felt like the cobbled together Dalek idea was, and the way that was constructed it worked in the context of that story. I remember saying it at the time, but I wasn't. It was good as a one-off Dalek, but I wasn't entirely sold on it as like a permanent model.
Yeah, I remember you saying that
going forward.
Yeah,
and I seeing that they've pretty much gone that route, I still not for it.
I guess maybe just give it a chance. Give it a chance, I guess.
I mean,
see,
I'm going to
have to anyway. Yeah,
because,
it's not like you have a choice.
I'm gonna boycott this next episode
just because I don't like the designs. Yeah. But I'm excited to see it.
Boycotted the Cybermen a long time ago.
Well, we know for a fact that yeah, it's true. We know for a fact that the Russell T Daleks are appearing, so it's gonna have to be, like a split between the two, the Russell T versus these new ones. Obviously, they're going to make the new ones win because that's the design they're going to go with. They're not going to do this new design and then they lose. Like, that would be awful. Yeah, our new design sucks, but this is the new one. Like,
that was pretty much what Moffat tried to do with the Paradigm Daleks, though.
And the Russell T still came through.
Just shoot the old ones out of existence.
Because they're not pure. Yeah. But yeah, so another returning thing in this special is not Trump, which the weirdest choice. So not Trump is from Arachnids in the UK. I can't even remember his name. That's how
that was not Trump.
Yeah, that was bidding up. Basically, it was just so tagged on, wasn't it? That bit where it's like, oh, he's like Trump. He was to run for the election. It was like, well, okay.
But he doesn't like Trump.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Who was it? It was Jack Robertson. That's his name. But okay, I'm not gonna complain because I do say that I like when they, connect things from prior series. I like the connections, so I'm not gonna complain about that side. I'm happy that they're, at least bringing back characters. It makes the universe feel like it's being affected. And I feel like that was something that Series 11 was really lacking, and even Series 12 to a degree.
Inherently, but it seems very tone deaf to then turn around for the one character they bring back to be a character that pretty much nobody liked.
I know. I thought Lenny Henry was at least a better choice from Spyfall.
Yeah,
at least he was into technology. And the Daleks are kind of high tech, so I could see, he was a bit like a Van Statten, really, Lenny Henry's character.
Yeah, a bit of that, yeah. And I was saying this on Snapchat, who's next? Like the mother-daughter combo from Orphan 55?
Who knows?
Or, the pregnant alien guy from
yeah. I mean,
The
the
Saranga
thing is they
conundrum.
did save a lot of the villains. Not many villains died in Series 11. So, I mean, the space racist is still out there somewhere.
Yeah.
He could come back at some point.
Mm.
Not hopefully not in this one, because this is enough already. Because not only
Sure.
do we have Jack Robinson, not Trump, returning, we also have Ryan and Graham are leaving. Officially called it. I knew it when
I
Bradley
think
Walsh
most
said
people
it.
did.
I knew when Bradley Walsh said that thing like, "Oh, the next series is going to be a corker." I'm like, you absolutely do not have a clue what's going on in the next series. Like, it was just so clear. Like, it was the fact that he pushed saying that made it so obvious. But the thing is like, why cover it if then like Chibnall's just gonna say in this final episode, yeah, they're leaving before it's aired. Like, great. That was really worth covering up for him to now say in an interview. But I mean, I'm gonna miss Graham. I'm gonna miss Bradley Walsh. Definitely the best out of all three.
Yeah.
However, super happy that they're leaving by the fact that it sounds like we're just gonna have the Doctor and Yaz in next series, which is gonna make the series so much better. It's just automatically the runtime. You can actually spend time developing villains
and developing Yaz.
And Yaz, yes, yes for Yaz. Definitely the most interesting out of the three in terms of like background and
yeah,
you
they
know,
set some stuff up.
they just never actually went with it. So hopefully now it's gonna happen. How do you think they're gonna leave then, Ryan and Graham? What do you think is gonna be their exit story?
I don't know. It'll probably be like a. I don't know.
Do you think
like I
Graham? Well, okay. Well, time's gonna have passed quite a lot of time. I think it'll be something to do with the cancer.
Quite possibly.
And Graham can't travel anymore because of it, and Ryan decides to stay and look after Graham because that's what Grace would have done. That's my guess. And yeah, I think that's why like some runtime because so much time has passed, it would have given time for the cancer to have come back. So maybe even Graham might die. But I feel like if Graham died, then
I was
Ryan.
thinking that, but
I think Ryan would then go with the Doctor if that happened. You know, I as an escapism from the reality. But I feel like if Graham is dying but not dead, then Ryan would stay behind. That's my guesstimation. But yeah, but not only that, we have Captain Jack also returning in the special. Like, this is already lining up to be a very busy 70 minutes. But when you actually list what happens in the 50th anniversary, there's about the same amount of threads, and that came out decent. So
sure.
I mean, you had the Zygons, you had the unit, you had the 3 Doctors, including introducing the War Doctor.
Awful lot more time spent to get that right.
True. Well, I don't know. I mean, Moffat was also working on Series 7 at the time, and that did suffer due to it. But
yeah, because most of his focus was on the 50th to make sure that was right.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, they filmed this. I mean, what's nice is this was all filmed before COVID, so it's going to be super. You know, I think it's the only thing in the BBC lineup this Christmas that was filmed before COVID. So that leads me on to believing. We'll come back to Jack in a moment, but when do you think it's going to air? Because like there's kind of things changing at the minute. Because I saw obviously I sent the thing to you yesterday from BBC News, which said the Doctor Who Christmas episode, not festive episode. I had caught
that about a week ago actually. It's conflicting because like the thing was right even before that it was listed amongst the Christmas schedule. From the BBC's like guides, it is like listed amongst the special, but I think it always is, even if it's on New Year's, kind of listed amongst that. So I wouldn't yet read too much into that because otherwise I think it would have had a bigger deal made of it. That oh my goodness, it's a Christmas special because BBC said it. Um, I think that was less of an actual like this is going to be on Christmas Day, but rather the Christmas period. I
Mm.
think in terms of that
But
specific like image,
that's why I
because it
thought they were saying festive special, because it was just the fact that they used Christmas this time, because obviously New Year isn't Christmas. Christmas is Christmas.
yeah
That's like, I mean, I'm just reading into it way too much. I hope. What I'm
yeah
hoping is that actually BBC have turned around, and because their schedule's a bit sparser this year, because they've been
mm,
struggling to actually make stuff in
yeah
time, that they've gone like, right, this is going to be great TV. Shove it
mm,
on Christmas Day, like, because
mm,
actually they don't have too much say on when things like
yeah
are scheduled and aired. From working in the TV industry myself, like when things are
yeah
talking to schedulers, it's not about actually when they want to, it's about when the channel decides to. And you can try and push, but if they're like, hey, this is going to be great for Christmas Day, they might just do it anyway.
mm,
Might just be like, right, you got
maybe
Jack returning, you got this is the perfect time to do it. And if there's a series next year anyway, even if it's right at the end, it means that at least you're getting Doctor Who next year regardless. So it's not like trying to
yeah
shove it. It's not like last year, well, 20, oh my god, wait, yes, 2019, where they put Resolution right at the start, so we had at least some Doctor Who in 2019. Not that we had any really, like it was
yeah
2020 really where we got Doctor Who, because we had the whole series then. Like it's
mm.
like, well, you did get Doctor Who in 2019. It's like, yeah, but did we? Like, not really.
Did we though?
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm feeling like there's no rush to do that, because the next series will be out, at least they're saying late next year or early 22, which again,
yeah
but I feel like that because they're doing less episodes, I feel like there's just less. I mean, there's more to organize in terms of safety, but I feel like like ultimately, it is still less work when it comes to the post production side of things.
mm,
You got less edits to watch and give feedback on. There's just less to do on that side of
yeah
things. So that's I feel that it could actually be Christmas Day this episode, not because Chibnall wants it to be on Christmas Day, but because the schedulers might say,
mm,
this is going to be great, put it
mm.
here.
Maybe. Although, like I said, I don't. And I'd be very happy if it was. I just don't necessarily want to assume that's a given.
Oh yeah, I mean, we find out tomorrow, don't we?
Yeah, that's true.
Because we got
That's
a
true.
trailer tomorrow, because on the 57th anniversary, which was earlier this week, they decided to give us a trailer of Captain Jack and saying he's back. I was like, that's kind of a promo you do when he hasn't returned. Like, we know he's back. Like, we saw he was back.
Yeah, that's something you show at the end of the trailer.
Yeah. And it's like, okay. That was it on the 57th anniversary. Like,
Yeah,
okay. And now,
it's
no,
nice
but
to hear.
like, what's
but...
even stupider though is now they're doing a full trailer tomorrow on the 29th. Like, why? Why not do that teaser with
yeah.
Jack's back like a week before the anniversary, and then do the big one on the anniversary? Like, what's who?
As I mentioned, I mentioned to you, I think that's more of a marketing decision than anything else. It does seem kind of odd when everybody on Twitter was talking about Doctor Who that they didn't then drop a trailer for everybody
to talk about on top of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although they throw us a
people
bone
did
just so that there would be something.
Yeah,
to
people
talk
did
about.
talk about the trailer, but just about how
Yeah.
like, okay, nice, that's nice. I do love Jack. I do love me some Jack, but also kind of the surprise happened. Like, I loved it in the Fugitive of the Jadoon when he showed up. I lost my shit when I saw it. That was brilliant. So well handled, really well kept secret, fantastic stuff.
Well, in terms of his appearance,
yeah.
But
I mean, there was always
not so much the actual content.
Oh yeah, the content, but I mean, it was always a setup for him to come back later, which is why doing Jack's back for this one is kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, that was kind of obvious by how little you had him in the last episode. Like, you wouldn't have got him shooting back in costume to just do like a cameo like that and not meet the Doctor. Like, that's why they teased it like, oh, I've got to see this. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Jack's definitely going to save her from the space prison. Like, that's what it will be. Um, but yeah, I can't wait for them to kind of talk to each other. I think it'll be really fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm hoping this is a stepping stone to get Torchwood again. I really hope they do do enough a series of Torchwood, even if it's just a mini series. It was such an awesome show. But
Britbox exclusive.
but yeah, so trailer tomorrow. Hopefully a lot more. Do you know? Actually, no. What I was gonna say is the reason why I don't think they did it on the 57th anniversary is because maybe they didn't have confirmation on which day it was airing yet. And they're gonna want to put a date. It's gonna even be New Year's Day special or Christmas Day special. And I feel like that's why they couldn't do a whole trailer on the because these things are only kind of decided a month in advance. From when I was working, it was always kind of a month. And there's so much to work around, like ad break, when are we going to play this advert, there's a lot. Scheduling's a difficult job, and hats off to the people who do it. So maybe they hadn't even confirmed the time of when, and they
it's possible, although I remember in the old, especially back in the Russell T days, they'd always announce that it was a Christmas special every year well in advance.
Oh yeah,
because that was the expectation.
Well, I get that, but maybe it was supposed to be a New Year Day special. However, because of COVID, is now they've been obviously discussing, because as the guy said in an interview, I think head of BBC something scheduling maybe, he said it's been difficult to get this all together, because everything's been filmed during lockdown things. I mean, they've got a Vicar of Dibley special, which is back for 3 episodes, which I think is going to be great. I love that series. That's a shame because most of the cast have sadly died, really. And there's other stuff that's going to be on, but Doctor Who's the only one which wasn't filmed in COVID, which means it's going to be big, and it's going to be people actually touching each other, at least within 2 meters of each other, which will be sweet. So Jack and the Doctor could actually have a hug, hopefully, or it's not going to feel because that's the one thing I'm worried about the new season is obviously, are you going to be able to tell it's in COVID? In an interview with Matt Stevens, sorry, getting his name wrong, but he's saying about the new series, and that they want to make sure that you can't tell it's filmed during lockdown, which is good, because I really hope it's you can't tell, because that would suck. But I guess we'll see. But yeah, I've lost my train of thought, man. But yeah, that's my point.
Hey.
It's just gonna be big and exciting. So I hope that it's gonna be Christmas Day. I really hope. But talking about 57th anniversary, obviously on the day, the better things got revealed. So the 50th Steelbook, which looks lush, and it's got Night of the Doctor, it's got Day of the Doctor, and it's got Time of the Doctor. So that's really nice that those are all in there.
It's basically the entire pack of the older 50th.
Yeah, weirdly, Name of the Doctor still being in there. I still don't get that, but okay, why put the end of the finale in that one again? It's just odd. I got it when it was the weird 50th box set. I got that, but now retroactively, it's I don't know. It's because I tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because inside, when you actually open the discs, it's exactly the same discs as the Blu-rays. It's just in the that's why they've fucking done it.
Just that's what they've been doing the whole time, because all of the steelbooks were just a repackaged Blu-ray edition. There's nothing just different about them.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I like the design. I was surprised that they revealed it so soon after revealing the Series 7 design, but cool, whatever. I guess they came up pretty close to each other, so I guess releasing them makes sense to do it. And fucking hell, next one's going to be Peter Capaldi. We're really getting through him now. Crazy, isn't it? I don't own any of Series 10 onwards, so I kind of can't wait to get to those ones. Because those have been...
Yeah. I got Series 10 mainly so I could get it signed.
Signed by John Sim. But yeah, so that was cool. I did call it that it would be a separate box set. Now, Series 8 next. 9, 10. And then I guess they'll start doing... I hope, they do the new designs for the new series, and then when the new series comes out, they'll just keep doing the steelbooks alongside. I hope there's not like a gap between doing them now.
Well, I've been doing steelbooks regardless.
Yeah, but not in this style though, have they?
But not in this style. Yeah.
And then we got the surprise of Web of Fear, getting a special edition, which is pros and cons because it makes you think, oh no, are we never going to get episode 3? But they're only animating episode 3, which makes sense. Like, it would be dumb to waste that money doing like 1 to 6. However, they're doing a weird 3D, aren't they? The 3D 2D.
Yeah. It because they showed it off in the trailer, which was a recreation of the original trailer which they had back in the day. Which I think they already recreated at some point or another, also in 3D, but I don't remember exactly when or what DVD collection that was part of. But yeah, it's certainly not Dalek series level off, but because it has decent lighting, and I guess if you weren't looking at it too hard, it would almost.
I think in black and white it would look better.
Like if you see a screenshot of it, right, it could pass off as like almost like the 2D. They kind of go for this kind of 2D, 3D style almost to it, where it could be like the way it's lit and the way they're kind of shaded. It could almost be 2D if you just looked at it in the screenshot, but in motion, it's when everything kind of falls apart. Because it seems that they're doing some form of motion capture, I think. That's what it looked like from the way the animations were flowing.
Maybe.
Didn't look particularly great in motion. It looks so odd. Like, with the 2D animations, right, they are quite stiff. And I did complain about Fury of the Deep for that. But at the same time, it looks, within that limitation, it looks fine enough. Like, you don't expect any more of it, I guess, because it is sort of like a moving, flat image more than it is like an actual, I guess, motion thing. But like, you get used to it and you get, and it works well enough for that. Whereas if they're then moving on screen in all sorts of odd, like unnatural ways, it's far more distracting than it is in 2D, I think. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. I'm glad we're going to finally get an animated version, because I remember when I was watching it was really kind of a shame just going to a picture version. So at least, and I haven't watched it since actually I watched it that first time. So it'd be nice to watch it again actually when getting the special edition. So that's cool. I hope we don't get an animated cover though. I hope we get like enough of like Enemy of the World special edition kind of cover, because I really dislike when they do add the animated covers. I prefer the real people.
Well, I'm fine with the animated covers as an option, but I wish for the classic covers they did like more live action version.
Yeah.
I wish that was kind of how they balanced it. Because you don't want to make people's expectations be like, oh, this is like
on the reversible cover, have it as
like the main cover.
Yeah.
But like as the reversible cover, I think that would be better. And this also probably means that we're going to get Underwater Menace at some point.
Yeah.
Given that they're still going back and doing special editions, because they've been rather light on doing anything like that since Enemy of the World. Like, I don't remember, that was released in, when was that?
2017?
Something like that. It's been a while.
Yeah.
This is the first special edition we've had in quite a long time. So
Power of the Daleks special edition.
Well, I guess. Well, yeah, that's true too. Although that's one that they did within this kind of animated bubble, I guess.
Yeah.
As opposed to anything from before, is what I mean. They're going back and revisiting.
Do you think this was the next one then? Like, this was the next one after, like, Fury from the Deep? Because they said, obviously, there's one that they were going to talk about soon. Or do you think there's going to be another one, which is going to be more animation? Or do you think this is
probably the one they were referring to? I mean, it's possible that they had something else. I mean, this could explain why it's all CG and whatnot. Is that perhaps due to delays because of COVID and whatnot, maybe they had like their plans pushed back, and they just decided, this is one episode, let's do it, or something like that. I mean, I can't assume because, like, we don't know anything like this. What goes
It's
on
just
behind
speculation.
the scenes
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, just pure speculation. But that'd be nice. It'd be nice to go back and see. Well, I don't think there's too much. Like I said, they could do Underwater Menace Special Edition. I don't know what else they would do for stuff like that.
Or just more.
But actually, that's one thing I was thinking of, and we'll get into, I guess, more on that a little bit later for certain things. But and maybe this isn't going to be a thing because, of course, I got the Blu-ray releases coming out now. But just thinking about some of the ones which they never did like any sort of special editions for. So like I was watching Earthshock, and it's just like, oh, this is the original like 2003 version, and they never ever did a special edition for it. So
bit weird that, isn't
it's
it?
cool that there was a weird one to never ever touch, particularly with its popularity. But
I think maybe they will one day. I'll just do it.
Well, again, they put. I think they're in terms of that. I think they'll just have it on the Blu-ray, and then Or did they already do the Blu-ray for that one?
They've already have, because it was Peter Davison's, because he's holding the star. He's holding Andrew's star on it. But I think that what they can do is take just the related Earthshock special edition stuff from that box set and just put it on the special edition, just the single DVD. Because
I'd be down for that. I'd pay for that.
Because so obviously the season 8 Blu-ray box set just came out, and God, these are so gorgeous, these box sets. It actually hurts that I can't get them, but it's just I can't spend I've got the whole collection on DVD, and it's like I can't what's the word? I can't say it, so justify it. That's it. I can't justify getting these new ones, even though they're so beautiful. And they take up less space as well, which would be great. But it's just, oh man, it hurts. It hurts, and it hurts that they're also special editions. So it's like, well, I missed the first one, so I'm not going to be able to get any of them. There's no point. If they were like, right, we're going to release them, and then this is just like a constant thing that you can always get, then maybe eventually I would. But at the minute, it's like $250 to get like Tom Baker's one. It's like, I'm not spending that amount to get one series with the Sontaran experiment in it. Not again. I can't watch it. I'm not going to spend $250 on that episode. But yeah, I thought the trailer was really nice for the season 8, having the Autons. That was very, very cool. They do good trailers for all of these box sets, but yeah, just the artwork is so beautiful, man. So good.
Nice. They are nice.
But yeah, that was that. So, but can't talk about it much because obviously not going to get it. But to those who do, screw you. You got too much money. But yeah, well, I'll definitely get the Steelbook and Web of Fear, obviously. Normal DVD, obviously, to fit in with the rest of the collection.
Already have my pre-orders in.
Yeah. I don't think I've pre-ordered Web of Fear, but that's because it's not going to be like a limited edition. But the 50th, I was like, get that in my basket.
No.
Oh, that's going.
Well, I'm not going to get them anyway, so
yeah,
might as well just get them when I get them, so I don't think about it again.
That's true. I'll get it closer to the time. Like, it just doesn't matter. Usually, it gives me. I forget about them if I don't. But yeah, talk about, you've been watching Peter Davison stories. I've been watching watching David Tennant stories. It's those two are always connected. Father-in-law and son.
I just felt in the mood again with the 57. So yeah, I sat down because I hadn't watched any in a little while after I'd watched 4 to Doomsday, and just kind of was like, I'm just gonna hold off for a bit. But then I sat down the 57th and watched Kinder, and I really like Kinder, like an awful lot. It's like such a weird one. Right? It feels really trippy to start with, but like it's a really well done story, and there's lots of like interesting elements to it.
You can see why it came back a season later in Snake Dance.
Yeah.
I haven't actually watched it since I watched it on VHS. I got the DVD, but that was just to do the collection. But I do need to watch it soon. I mean, at the moment, I'm going through the new series because I kind
Yeah.
of watched quite a lot of William Hartnell. I got up to the Romans and I was like, right, I got to stop for a bit on classic Who. So I was like, right, I'll
Sure.
do New Who because I hadn't watched series 1 for bloody ages. I hadn't watched most of the old Tennant stuff for bloody ages. So I've just been going through it. I'm at series 4 now. Just about to do the Doctor's Daughter, but I've got a bit of burnout now, kind of doing so much. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, I've got through and I'm like, wow, I'm almost at the end of Day with Tennant. I'm like, that went super quick. But obviously, we like lived through that, so it felt so much longer.
Over
but it's kind of
time,
crazy. Like, you can actually like go through his tenure quite quickly. It's kind of quite strange. But yeah, it's
But
I'm enjoying it though a lot. You know, I can definitely see what's missing from the new series when watching this series.
Yeah. Indeed. But yeah, that wasn't the only thing I watched. Because after having watched that, I kind of felt in the mood to watch more. And the way I've been watching them is just kind of. I mean, I've been jumping about a bit because I've been watching the ones which I haven't watched, so I can go through and have said at some point I have watched all of these. So I watched Kinder and enjoyed it very much. Then I watched Earthshock, which is one I watched the first 2 episodes of a very long time ago in, I think, a family friend's house. When
way back.
Yeah. It's like the family's kid
over
really
a decade
like
at least.
As well,
yeah.
And like he wants to watch. I think it was the Silurians, and then like I was allowed to watch Earthshock while he was doing that, but we didn't end up finishing either.
Well, yeah, Silurians is bloody long.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, Earthshock as well, really, really great. Like, I don't really remember my first time watching it, but yeah, and I mentioned this to Nick, I think, when I Snapchatted it to you, but like, it's almost like, having not watched it in its entirety, it's like, what if essentially the Cyberman actually managed to finish as a Cyberman story?
Yeah.
It really, does them really well generally. Like I'm not super convinced in their voice and like the weird clear mouth one, Cyberman.
Oh yeah.
With the mouth section that's clear and you can see like the guy inside.
I mean, it's just a bit like whatever his name was in the Lonely Cyberman.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it is pretty much like that.
It's just a classic version.
It's quite a good, quite high action story that I'm glad I finally got the chance to watch in its entirety. And and again, I'll only do brief like thoughts because we'll hopefully be reviewing some of these. So eventually. But and then I watched last night. I watched Time Flight.
Oh yeah, that was a weird one.
I nearly fell asleep. It was really boring. It was really boring. And like I felt uncomfortable for large periods. It's the master's guy's like really racist. So it's like I was simultaneously falling asleep but also deeply uncomfortable that entire episode.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, weird one to end the series on.
I guess that's what you can say about it.
Questionable. Yeah, I need to go back. I don't remember a lot of the Davison. But yeah, I need to. Eventually I will go back and watch the classics.
And like I said, I only watched bits of it before, but the companion dynamic in this first season is actually interesting. Like, sure, there is an issue with there being perhaps way too many, but compared to a lot of other Doctor companion relationships, an awful lot more bickering and tension, and it's interesting.
Not what's happening today.
Yeah, we're all friends.
We are the bestest friends forever and ever.
Yeah, not my companions, they're my friends.
They're not friends, they're family. They're my fam.
Yeah, real family.
What's really cringe though is when I see on like Twitter and stuff, and like they really try and push this fam dynamic, and they go back and like start calling other companions part of the Doctor's fam, and it's like, no, please stop. Like, it's fine for this period, but don't go retroactively back and be like, yeah, Rose was part of the fam, because that just makes it weird as fuck, doesn't it? Like, just no, please. I know
Well,
they're
that sort of, because he kind of married a half cloned version of the Doctor.
Yeah.
So...
Well, now they're fam. Yeah.
Kinda.
Step fam. God.
Kinda literally is.
Yeah. Right. We were talking about Daleks at the start. Let's go back to the Daleks. So obviously, was 2 episodes since we talked about the first one. The animation surprisingly hasn't improved. Shocker there.
I think it's almost gotten worse.
Really? I don't know. I wouldn't agree with that. I thought the Mechanoids one looked quite nice, actually. But let's talk in order. Let's go episode 2. So the strategist goes to see this secret army. And we've got Joe Snug, Thatcher Joe from YouTube, just chilling out as a robot on this planet. He shows them the army. There's this really cool army, which they're like, yeah, these guys are dangerous. Then they're kind of gone. I mean, the trick was good that, you know, the strategist knew. Like, in terms of the story, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the really, like, scheming side of the Daleks. But just everything else is letting it down.
Yeah, like, I think if you took the overall plot and then gave it more, I think we could have something here, but I don't think we've had enough time per episode to really get anything particularly interesting out of them.
I don't know. I feel like the strategist and the Emperor, I feel like that's something that's bubbling in the background.
That's also not unique to this series, as I mentioned the other week. They are characters in this Time of Victorious universe that reoccur throughout different stories.
Yeah.
So I already saw the Emperor and the strategist in
the
Defender of the Daleks. So them being a thing here doesn't mean much to me because, well, you know, I've already seen them in better stories. You know?
I don't know. I thought the twist at the end of the last episode 3, was pretty good, where it was like, I led it here. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool.
Inherently, it's a pretty cool Dalek moment in itself.
Though the Mechanoid spinning,
like, that was weird.
That was weird as fuck.
I just that whole third episode in general was just a loss of waiting. You know, the Dalek Emperor and that one the Mechanoid leader just kind of stand in the room. The Daleks and the Mechanoids stand staring at each other until Mechanoids fire badly.
Well, they are robots.
Really awful flames. And then the Dalek and the strategist Dalek and the Dalek Mechanoid just kind of stand in front of. But there isn't anything to it. They just kind of stand about for.
Well, they were time wasting. That's what they were doing. The Daleks.
Yes, but I get the point of Daleks, but that isn't something that's interesting to watch.
I found it thrilling television, Conrad. It was thrilling. I don't know what you're on about.
Man, when the Emperor turned to face the Mechanoid, that was
my heart broke. I mean, it was interesting.
Like, as bad as the animation was in the first episode, at least there was a bit more to it.
They kept it dark, I think.
Whereas episode 2 was mostly spent standing the strategist kind of and this one other irritating robot on the planet. And it's like,
I didn't mind that one. I thought it was alright. I thought that was...
Was it?
How would you rate the episode so far then? Like, best to worst? Would you go 1, 3, 2?
No. I don't know, to be honest.
Well, that's what you've been saying so far. You said 1 at least had the most, and 2 was...
Had a bit of... Yeah, I guess 1 would be technically top. Although it's still very,
top
very
of the
low
bottom.
Bar. Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. It's free.
I don't know. Episode 2 might be slightly better because they did have a little bit of stuff in terms of like the whatever this thing is destroying a lot of Dalek ships was something, I guess.
And with a big kaboom.
Yeah.
The
But
sploosh.
like, that's just it. There were explosions. Really bad explosion, but there were explosions. So I guess it's slightly better than an episode with very little explosions. Or very awkward explosions, as the case was in the slight scuffle between the mechanoids and the Daleks. Like, oh, the Dalek exploded. It looks so awful. Like, gosh, I mean, it's just the worst. But the flames in particular are just so bad. Like, truly, like, any sort of interesting action is just ruined by those flames.
Fire, burn, sick burn, comrade. You got him.
It's just, ugh.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
I don't care. It's free. Like,
no.
and it's YouTube. Like, whatever. Like,
Yeah, but I feel like I've wasted my time every time I watch it.
well,
I like sit at the end of it. And
I don't know. I feel there's more
I could have
character
been doing
development than
anything
the.
else
There's more
during these
character
last
development than
17
the.
minutes.
Don't you think there's more character development in the current series? I feel like, I don't know. At least they argue. There's confrontation. I'm interested. Would you ever want to see the mechanoids on TV again?
Not really, unless they can think of a really interesting thing to do with them, I suppose. But like, what would they do with them?
Right. Well, that's the interesting
they're
thing.
Very large, clunky machines with like one flamethrower in front. There isn't a lot of mobility you can do with them.
Yeah, but
you could literally probably just climb on it and like just tack on it from the top. Like they're
but they clearly have peaceful ideologies, because obviously it's said like it was beautiful. Like, that's interesting. Like a Dalek race that's just got the emotions as well. Like, that interests me. Like, why haven't they spread across the universe? Because they see no need to. Like, they're happy being like, what would happen if you had Daleks but only cared about their planet? Like, I don't know. I feel that's slightly interesting. But I don't think the mechanoids are easy design to do it with.
No,
I wouldn't mind a cameo at some point though. Just a little mechanoid cameo. I don't know. But talking about villains returning, right, guys who are still listening, if you're still with us after like 50 minutes, we're going to be talking about some spoilers now. So, and probably, until the end of the episode. So, if you don't want any spoilers of the upcoming series, please go now, but make sure you subscribe and like before you do so. Maybe comment below. But plug merch. And we don't have any merch. Please don't look for merch. We don't have any. Yes.
If you do find it, it's bootleg.
It's bootleg. Don't do it.
But I don't know why who would bootleg us.
I mean, we did though. Do you remember we had that channel? Do you remember there was that channel that like stole our videos and put them up, and annoyingly they got a load more views on one of our reviews?
That's a bit different though, because like then they were taking our content, but that's easier than actually producing merch of us.
I don't know. There's those websites where you can just put the pictures up and then you can buy it, and that's when they make it. And that saves on stock. It's a good plan, to be honest. But anyway, digressing. Spoilers. So recently, I actually, funny enough, just the 2 episodes I just watched were the Sontaran stratagem and the Poison Sky. And I said to Conrad, like, damn, I've got a good idea. The Sontarans need to come back. They need to be done properly. And guess what's been spotted in behind the scenes photos of a new series? My boys, the Potato Men, in classic costume, which is sick.
Yeah, which is interesting. They went for the black and the silver again.
I think it's a better design, honestly.
Yeah, I prefer that to the blue, to be honest, because it does give them a bit more of an imposing look. And like the helmet design seems straight up like Time Warrior.
Yeah. Oh, I'm pretty sure these are going to be Sontarans which are set from that period of, because all you have to do is look at is like those Sontarans in like the blue armor. They're just later on. Like these are like the early versions. These are the older, because they don't have time travel. So you got to think for that Sontaran to land in the Time Warrior. That's hundreds of years ago. So like than modern day. You know, Poison Sky. That's like all the time that's passed.
Well, actually, I mean, if you look at it, you have like this Sontaran Experiment, which is actually set in
right in the future. Yeah, actually, yeah. Maybe they return to that though.
Well, I don't see the Sontarans as being a race particularly. Well, they're not a race particularly caring about designs and how aesthetically things look, because they're all about what would be most efficient in battle, of warfare. Yeah.
Maybe it's just a different kind of. Maybe that was like cloning battle uniform or something like it was more specific for that job. I don't know. You could add any lore into there that wouldn't like break the universe, Timeless Child way. Sure. So that's cool. So I'm very happy that, you know, classic, and it's cool. I'm super excited to see him again. So I'm already excited for the new series, whether they do it justice or not, who knows. But it makes me excited to at least hope and dream that it's going to be an excellent episode. My only worry is it going to be a single episode? Is it going to be a two-parter? I really hope it's a two-parter.
Well, given that they've already reduced the episode count, I wouldn't hold your breath for two parts.
Yeah, it would just. At least,
maybe a finale at most.
My thing is, so it was interesting reading the interview with the producer. So they're not allowed to film abroad. So everything is having to be filmed in this country, and under safety regulations. So fine, lower the episode count. But if you're on set and you've got these days and you've got these locations, you could at least extend the episode runtime to 60 minutes per episode. Just do an hour episode every single time. It's, you know, that 10 minutes, like. Even though, yes, you'll have to pay actors and so on, you're not having to pay to get kit over to another location and pay for location abroad. You're not having to pay for all of that. So you could actually take that time and at least take from those episodes that budget and apply it into these other ones. And what you can do then is be like, wow, I can actually flesh out this story a little bit more, add in a scene here, add in the threat, make it more. So I'm hoping that's at least what they're planning to do. And so I could see there being a good 60-minute Sontaran episode. I feel like you could do enough in 60 minutes to get a good episode. Which we'll see. The other behind the scenes that I saw were old soldiers, kind of in the red uniform. I can't remember which period that was.
I think people were saying Crimean War.
Crimean, that was it. And there was also the TARDIS, not changed, and you know, so hopefully. That rubbish about, you know, the removing police is not true.
Well, yeah, I didn't put much stakes in that to begin with, like I said. I think that was mostly just it was a clickbaity article meant to rile up fans from people with a certain heavier political leaning, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Do you think the Crimean War and the Sontaran is the same story then? Seeming as they're pretty much come around the same time, the pictures.
Could be.
Because I mean, it's a battle, so it'd be soldiers versus soldiers, in my opinion. So it makes sense. Yeah. Like you kind of have to have one army versus another army, or why would Sontarans bother, kind of thing.
Yeah, quite possibly. Guess we'll see. As I said, filming on very similar locations with two separate stories.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, like the start of a story happens in this one location and goes forward in time. Who knows?
All the soldiers in the Crimea are Rutans.
That's literally my story idea, which I came up with of having Rutans disguised as humans, and then kapow. You reveal, oh no, they're Rutons. Now what do you do? That would be it. Though, no, I've said it on here. I'll have to take down this podcast if I ever end up writing for the show, because that's literally the story I'd do.
Copyright claim my own part of the podcast.
Yeah, like I
mean, that was kind of somewhat the premise of taking a Chelsea 456, which was a novel, which I mentioned to you, but it's kind of set in the future.
Chelsea Flower Show.
And you have the Flower Show, and then you have the Sontaran and the Rutans fighting through that. It's a great book. It really is a great book.
But I want to see them on screen, Conrad. I want to see the tentacles. I love
What's
my tentacle
that?
videos.
The Doctor Who Adventure game.
Oh yeah, that like one thing that happened.
Yeah.
That nobody ever played. Like that was the last one as well.
Well, people played the first one, but then they
They just
slowly
dropped off.
throughout it, they didn't. And then the last one was kind of forgotten about, and the rest of the series got cancelled. It's a shame, given that it's probably the closest we've gotten to a,
Well, we've got the ones coming up.
Yeah, I guess.
See what happens with them. But yeah. But that's it really for behind the scenes. I don't think there was anything else. I mean, Chibnall did say like there would be, villains from the last 15 years returning who, ought to have another, episode.
But that might just be
I'm
the
pretty sure that
Sontarans.
is the Sontarans that he's talking about.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think the Master will show up as well.
Probably, yeah.
I feel like that's just a given. The big thing is, will Jodie regenerate or not? That's the thing. Will she do this series, then a special regenerate? Who knows? I hope not. I hope she does another series after this one. Just one more. Break the cycle of just
the
three
circle
series.
must be broken.
The circle must be broken so the Doctor can live. Yeah. I just like to see, just someone for a bit longer. Just to really flesh them out. Because I feel like, we've kind of had...
I'm still somewhat regretful that Capaldi didn't do an extra season.
Yeah, that would have been sick.
I would have loved to have seen it.
It would have been interesting how they changed the... Do you think they would have just kind of continued the same style of the series and then when it changed to a new Doctor do a complete change? Or do you think they would have done like a...
still probably would have made his changes.
Like a Tom Baker final series kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'd see. Like Moffat was saying, if David Turner continued, it probably would have remained the same kind of style and at least like stuff like the TARDIS interior and the themes and such would have all remained the same. So I'd imagine the same would have gone for the actual content of the series itself. Whereas I think Chibnall would have gone for his own thing regardless, just with Capaldi. It'd been interesting to see, because that would have, I mean, just his inherent personality would have come up with quite a different series.
Yeah, it would have been interesting. It would have just been a different series completely. Like we wouldn't have got any of what we got.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think Chibnall wanted to push the series in this direction regardless. So I think some of the stuff would have been the same. They might not have pushed some of the things he did quite as far, perhaps, but like I'd imagine that a lot of the stories which Jodie did do, you could have retrofitted to Capaldi if that was, what was required, I guess.
I mean, we're getting so
particularly. Sorry.
No, I was just thinking like we're getting so close to like the 60th anniversary now. Like
really
you think next year, either we have the series right at the end or really early 2022, then there'll be a special series and then the 60th. Now, if Jodie leaves, if she's gonna leave, she's gonna have to leave either in that special, so there's a new series with a new Doctor, and then the 60th with that Doctor, or she's gonna have to stay for that whole series and the special, and then probably regenerate in the special after that. Which in some ways, I don't know. I didn't like that Matt Smith left right after the 50th. It felt a bit like, I don't know, a shame. But
yeah,
I kind of wish I always wanted Matt to do one more season after that to see where because it felt like that arc needed to carry on with him rather than with Capaldi of finding Gallifrey. I felt like, I don't know, for me,
I guess, yeah, and particularly since they kind of, well, it felt like it wasn't prepared for really because they wrapped so much up in Time of the Doctor.
I think he generally thought that. I think Moffat thought that Matt might stay on for another series.
And then, like, you had episodes in the Capaldi's first season where it clearly felt like it was like a leftover Matt Smith script, like Robots the Sherwood in particular, most infamously. But I think you can see other aspects in a few other stories.
Yeah. Oh, Chibnall right in the 60th. I wonder how that will go down.
What's the next way you can upset the fan base?
The Doctor never existed. It was all a dream in Clara's head. Clara is the Doctor. Oh, some shit like that. Who knows? I don't know. I wonder what would be the way to totally break the show.
Oh,
I mean, to be honest, the timeless children
maybe that has
that would have been like an avenue where
the,
like
the,
the
the
Doctor was
Doctor and the
always
Master
special.
are the same person.
Oh yeah, that would be
Split.
awful. Yeah, yeah, that would be great. That would be so bad. That'd be fantastic.
I mean, they tried to make them brothers.
Yeah,
at one
way
point.
back in the classic era.
Yeah.
But then they did that as a joke, and when it came back with David Tennant. So I thought you were going to say it was your secret brother or something. It's like, nah, you watch too much
go
television.
full on Curse of Fatal Death and make the Doctor and Master lovers.
Oh god, yeah. Interesting stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you could break the show that much. I guess like change the TARDIS out exterior. That would be something. Though I'd love to do that if I took over. I'm gonna have to take this podcast down if I ever do take over the show because I'm revealing so many of my plans if I did take over. But I'd love in the first episode. My idea is to really go with like a piratey Doctor. I'd love to set the first episode. I'd love to set the first episode in like Enlightenment. You probably haven't got to it yet in the Fifth Doctor era. So there's like space ships which literally look like pirate ships in space. It's interesting. I need to rewatch it because I didn't really take it in.
Of one of the books, another one of the books actually, which was set in kind of a steampunk spaceport in the future where they kind of had an almost treasure island sort of thing going on. Well, I guess almost treasure planet sort of thing going on in the way, but like there was a curse and a big monster guy that went around like going after people because of the curse, and I really liked it. Great one.
But yeah, so my idea would be to have this Doctor who's kind of shoved into this piratey adventure as their first story, and I'd have just at the end of the episode to actually do battle with the pirates. The Doctor actually has to change the chameleon circuit to form the TARDIS into like a pirate ship just for this episode. Like he'd change it back at the end. But I'd love to do that because I'd love to upset the fans by revealing a photo of this ship and like people like losing their shit that they've changed the TARDIS design because I'd make it like a blue fucking like pirate ship or something. Like just like because I just really want like a kind of like just crazed Doctor, like not Matt Smith level, but someone who's just like I don't know, but yeah, like piratey. I just really feel like that's like something that would work, but also be different to what we've had so far. I think it'd just be interesting to have like the TARDIS flying as like this pirate ship because I mean we've seen it with like the weird fucking diner through time and space. It would just be so cool seeing this like ship and then like the Doctor just changing it back once after the adventure, but keep staying in like the kind of piratey gear because he kind of likes it, or she. I'm not fussed on which gender to be honest. But yeah, that would be like my first, because we've never had like an opening story kind of like that at least, so I feel like it would be fresh and different. And I do like the companion. If I had a leftover companion, obviously then you have to, I guess, work that in. But if I could go brand new, I would definitely get an alien companion. Fuck Earth. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
I get like,
or at least someone from a different time period.
Literally, I will grab like one, like it would be like the I don't know, like the like the cabin boy or cabin girl, whatever, who's on this ship. That's the person who I'd go for as a companion because they join the ship to see the world. A bit like Astrid Peth. Like that was great stuff, and that is like that's who I'd go with because I'm so tired of Earth. Like I can't believe they're still doing it. Like, is there a clause? Is there a clause that it has to be like?
Because it's relatable, Nick.
Yeah, but yet everyone loves Ace, and she was from, I mean, she was from Earth, but like it was like she was thrown in the future from an explosion that she made, or like weird shit, whatever. But like it clearly works. It's not about relatable. It's like you can relate to anyone. Like that's the thing. This is the thing that people always get that kind of annoys me as well. It's like they have to have lived the exact same path of life as you for you to be able to relate to them. And that's not true. How do people get on with people who come from completely different backgrounds? Because it's ideologies, and ideologies you can get from anywhere. That's you as an independent person. So
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think we've talked enough for today. I think that's
I guess, yeah.
that's a lot of things. That's hour and 5 minutes. That's our longest one for a while, baby. There we go. So if anyone's still listening, comment below. Don't steal my story ideas unless you're gonna pay me. Or I have to take if a pirate ship ends up in fucking Doctor Who, I'm gonna lose my ship.
Well, we've already had a pirate
A
ship.
TARDIS pirate ship. Well,
Curse
I mean,
of the Black Spot.
yes, that fantastic episode. But yeah,
I did. It was also part of that novel, pretty
to
much.
be fair,
So it's like
that story,
they ripped it off of that.
that story actually executed not great, but the idea behind it, like the black spot actually coming on your skin, was sick. That was an awesome idea.
Well, like I said, the book did kind of an idea like that. Only it was a note that you pass around to people with a black spot on it.
Yeah, I mean that's the classic way.
And it basically had that concept, and like you'd have this big guy go around and kill you, basically, if you got that curse with you.
Oh, that's cool. Bit like the
one.
tattoo.
It was one of his early ones. I think it was the series 2 novel. I don't know. Because Resurrection Casket was another one, which I think was also sold. No, that was it. No, sorry, it was a Resurrection Casket because you also had the Feast of the Drowned, which was also set on the ship. But that was a different one. But
interesting.
Yeah, it's a Resurrection Casket.
Yeah, ships, eh?
Yeah.
I just feel it would be fun, like in like the cabins, you know, in the captain's cabin, like that's where the TARDIS console would be, like during this. It'd just be really interesting. It'd be a fun little moment. Fuck it, you're doing a new series. Go big or go home. And that's how I just want those fun, weird, fucking wacky moments.
Yeah,
because it'd just be funny seeing like this TARDIS, just a blue ship going into battle. So I couldn't change the color, like I think that'd be kind of fun. But yeah,
like a hot air balloon in them.
Yeah, like that was brilliant. It's a shame like the hot air balloon wasn't completely blue though. That was a shame. That was a missed trick there. Like they could have coloured it blue at least. But whatever. Right, yeah. So there we go. Comment below, guys, what you think of anything that we discussed today. And yeah, that's it. We'll be back. Well, we hope to do a reaction tomorrow to the trailer when it comes out, hopefully. Depending what time that is. Hopefully it works out. But yeah, so fingers crossed that's it'll be just Jack saying it and then the Doctor being like, I've missed it too. And that's it. That's the end of the trailer.
Captain Jack Partners.
Yeah. I was like, I've missed that. No, I've missed that sound a lot. And then that's where the trailer ends. Just cut it there. Wow, Captain Jack's back a lot. I hope we see the fucking Dalek. It's a Dalek episode. Show us some Daleks.
He got the poster and it was on there.
Yeah, I want to see it in motion, man. Like it just it never looks. They never look too great. Still, I don't know. You need. I want to hear the voice as well. That's what I'm interested with.
It'll probably just be the same.
I hope
It's
so.
not going to replace Nick Briggs.
They'll be deeper.
Okay,
that's my guess. That's my guess is that they're going to be deeper. But we'll see. We will see.
Full on Day of the Daleks.
Yo, Doctor! Oh, you cheeky bastard! Make him Cockney or something. I don't know. Give him an accent.
G'day, Doctor.
G'day, Doctor.
Australian.
Oh, that's not.
Daleks from down under.
G'day, mate. Exterminating. That's what I say.
It's a roaster and the Barbie.
Jesus. Oh, we're sorry, any Australian listeners. We don't believe in all those stereotypes. Right. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.